Have you been looking around lately and asking yourself, what the hell is wrong with men in this country? Yeah, me too. There's a crisis sweeping through the nation, an epidemic. Young working class men, black, Latino, white, all across the nation are fed up. They're angry and they're hopeless. And what happens when young men feel angry and hopeless? They put their faith in anyone who makes them feel seen, who makes them feel heard, who makes them feel like it's okay to be a man in this country. And this past election, what did they do? They voted for Donald Trump. Not just because they love Trump, but because they felt someone was finally listening. This isn't a Trump story. It's a crisis of men in America. And until we address it, our social fabric and democracy itself will continue to crumble until there's nothing left. I'm Michael Fanone, and this is The Michael Fanone Show. This week, the New York Times dropped an opinion piece that confirmed what a lot of us have been feeling, but far too few are saying out loud. In 2024, women showed up in huge numbers, and they voted for Harris. Men, especially young men, they swung hard for Trump. And I'm not just talking about the same old Fox News watching flag-wrapped white guys from MAGA rallies. I'm talking about young black guys, Latino guys, Asian guys, men you'd never think would throw in with a racist, xenophobic, criminal ex-president. But they did, in big numbers. So listen, here's the thing no political party wants to admit. A lot of young men in this country, especially the ones getting chewed up by shitty jobs and broken promises, they feel like nobody's fighting for them. Democrats spent the last few years focusing heavily on women. And don't get me wrong, that's important. But they forgot about working class guys, especially young men of color. They're still struggling. And Republicans, they just swooped in with a bullshit version of manhood, threw around a few words like strength and freedom and law and order and the army of illegals, and offered those guys someone to blame. Well, guess what? When nobody else is there to offer a different path, a way out, a helping hand to men in this country who feel lost and alone, unsure of how to be a productive man in this country, celebrated for his masculinity. That shit works. In the aftermath of the 2024 election, we learned that this wasn't just a white working class man problem. It affects men of every race, ethnicity, and background who were left behind. For decades, Democrats have counted on a coalition of women and people of color. But guess what? That coalition's got cracks in it now because they forgot that men of color are still men. And they're just as pissed off, broke, and looking for meaning as anybody else. Trump saw that and he pounced. Here's the part no one wants to say out loud. The gender gap. It's not just about who voted which way. It's a five-alarm fire screaming, men feel forgotten. And if no one answers, they'll burn it all down just to feel heard. This isn't just about toxic masculinity or some culture war bullshit. It's about what happens when you gut entire communities, kill off good union jobs, and turn every guy under 30 into a DoorDash driver with no benefits and no future. So what happens when you make men feel like a problem instead of a partner? And guess who filled that void? Trump. With lies, with scapegoats, with fake truth. And a lot of guys fell for it. Not because they're evil, but because they were alone and looking for someone to tell them they still mattered. Look, I get it. I'm one of those guys. A working class heterosexual man who spent 20 years as an inner city cop. An everyday American guy. I drive a truck, I like to hunt, fish, I drink beer, watch sports, and I spend time with my 4 beautiful daughters and 2 lazy ass hound dogs. And for a long time, men like me were told that manliness is always toxic, that being a cop is always bad, standing up for your country is bad, that exhibiting any qualities associated with manliness or manhood meant that you were part of the problem. Well, that's all crap. What happened to the ethos of the good man, the protector, the provider, the man who takes action? Like the vast majority of cops in this country, I got into law enforcement because I believed in protecting people, not beating the shit out of protesters or kissing a politician's ass. But after January 6th, when I got the shit kicked out of me defending the Capitol, a lot of the same people that I thought had my back turned their backs on me. Politicians on both sides of the aisle, cops, the FOP, and all the fucking right-wing manosphere keyboard warriors who said that they backed the blue. Some patriots they are. And I started to feel what a lot of guys in this country feel right now. I felt abandoned, disrespected, disposable. We tell men to be strong, but then we mock them when they crack. We say toxic masculinity without separating what's toxic from what's just being a man. And that's left a hell of a lot of dudes confused and angry. So what the hell do we do? Well, I've got some ideas. And Democrats, you listen up. Because if you ever want to win a national election in this country again, or have a nation that still actually has elections, then you're gonna need young men on your side. Speak to economic dignity. Stop the buzzwords and the virtue signaling. Talk about real jobs, union power, and getting men paid well enough to raise a family. Dignity and labor still means something in this country. Stop dunking on masculinity. You want to reach men? Don't shame the idea of strength. Redefine it. Strength is protecting your community, owning your shit, and fighting for others. That's not toxic, that's leadership. Show up in places you're ignored. Barbershops, job sites, street corners, jails, gym locker rooms. Don't just send a text on election day. Earn trust face to face. Stop assuming identity equals loyalty. Just because somebody's black or Latino or working class doesn't mean they're in your corner. You have to prove you're worth their vote. Try elevating real messengers, not politicians in suit or coastal elites with fancy degrees. Give the mic to union guys, vets, former cops, dads, fighters, people who've lived it and know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. It's not complicated. Guys don't want to burn the world down. They just want someone to say, I see you, you matter, you still have a future. And not only mean it, but help teach those men the values of being a good man in society. Give them someone to look up to. Be a role model for manhood. You do that, you win back the votes you lost. Believe me when I tell you, this ain't about parties anymore. This is about people. And people are desperate for someone to give a damn. So the next time you hear about a gender gap in politics, don't just nod. Ask yourself, why are so many young men this angry? And who's giving them a reason to stay that way? And if you're one of those guys, I see you. You're not invisible. But don't waste your life chasing a strong man who doesn't give a shit about you. We all deserve better than that.